all so much for coming out on this very, very special occasion. So give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you. Before I introduce our speaker, I just want to start with a statistic. The numbers are staggering. 20% of the veterans who served in either Iraq or Afghanistan suffer from either major depression or post-traumatic stress disorder. Overall, there are about 22 veteran suicides each day, a rate higher than the general population. The Veteran Administration is working very hard to identify and help our veterans suffering from mental and emotional disorders. One of those individuals here in the Atlanta area is Ms. Ashley Keaton. She is a health science specialist and crisis responder with the VA and assists veterans in need. She is a licensed professional counselor, a nationally certified counselor, and an improved clinical supervisor in the state of Georgia. Ashley is the owner of ARA Professional Counseling Services, LLC, which serves children, adolescents, adults, and families. She also supervises new counselors and social workers towards state licensure. Ashley is also a 5th-year doctoral student in the Counselor Education Supervision Program at Walden University. She is currently working on her dissertation research, focusing on developing a theory for the cross-cultural mentoring of other counselor educators. Very shortly, she will be Dr. Ashley Keaton. Ashley has also served as a clinical supervisor at Rainbow House in Jonesboro, Georgia. While there, she supervised counseling and social work interns that work with children and adolescents who were victims of sexual abuse, physical abuse, and neglect. I've known Ashley for about 10 years. We met while we were both pursuing our master's degree in community counseling at Arkansas University. I really, truly, genuinely mean this when I say Ashley is very intelligent, compassionate, driven, focused, and committed to helping those in emotional distress and deserving of support. Any veteran that reaches out to Ashley, soon to be Dr. Keaton, could not be in better hands. Please join me as we welcome our speaker, Ms. Ashley Keaton.
Well, she hyped me up really well, didn't she? And I have to live up to these expectations. How's everyone doing today? So I actually work at the Veterans Crisis Line. So the line is developed for suicide. Is that okay?
Yeah.
So I work at the Veterans and Military Crisis Line. So it really is for suicide and mental health, but anything can really be a crisis. So I've been there 2.5 years. It started out as 14 responders in Canandaigua. There's a VA out there in North New York. And now we have over 800 people, 500 responders in 3 locations. So the need for crisis intervention and suicide prevention, especially with our veterans and veterans' families, is just a need that we just can't seem to keep up with, but we're growing, we're doing our best. So I'm here, early Veterans Day. When is Veterans Day for sure? Anyone know? All right. And we all know it used to be called Armistice Day? All right. So what's the difference between Veterans Day and Memorial Day? Anyone know? That's right. So Veterans Day are for those who have served, where Memorial Days are for those who have died while in the service. So how many veterans do we have here today? Raise your hands so I can thank you. Oh my goodness. So in my time working at the Veterans and Military Crisis Line, I've talked to veterans of every major conflict except for World War I. But I have talked to 2 World War II veterans. They were 98 and 95. And God bless their souls, they're still here with us. They're a little hard of hearing, But we were able to have a wonderful conversation, and I was able to get them connected to services at their local VA. Because who would have thought that veterans don't know that they can go to the VA and get services? Maybe that's something they don't really tell them when they leave the service, but just know that you can get service connected by just calling our crisis line. So I'm going to say our number several times during this speech. So it's 1-800-273-8255, and you're going to press 1 for a veteran. And I have information with Nicole so that you can get to us at any time. So another pop quiz, what are the 5 branches of the military service? I heard Army, I heard Navy, Marines, Air Force, Coast Guard. All right, and then an honorable mention to our U.S. National Guard, because they too can qualify for VA services. Did y'all know that? All right, so the mission of the Veterans Crisis Line is to provide 24/7 world-class suicide prevention and crisis intervention service to our veterans, service members, and their families. That's right, the families can call the Veterans and Military Crisis Line. They would treat them like they're one of our own. And then our vision, because every government agency has a vision, is to provide supportive, timely, high-quality crisis intervention to connect service members, veterans, to the service of their choice to ensure that they never struggle alone. I like that last part. And we're accredited by the International Customer Management Institute and the Commission on Accreditation for Rehabilitation Facility, which is short for CARF. All right. So how did the crisis line start? So in 2007, the Joshua Omvig Veteran Suicide Prevention Act was signed into law, which means that they calls for a screening of veterans for suicide, better education on suicide, providing expanded services for suicide, and the creation of a new suicide crisis line. Voila. So we started out as volunteers. There were some volunteers in the Canandaigua area who went to the basement of the VA, and they set up phone lines, and they started just answering calls, just being willing to help. And they quickly found out that there were a lot of people who needed services and needed help. So we just expanded. So at the time, we had the 14 responders, and we had 2 people we call SSAs, and that's just fancy for social service assistants. So, for example, if you call me and you're having suicidal thoughts, I'm going to stay on the line with you until we figure it out. Now, if I have to save you, I'm going to reach out to my colleague, and they're the ones that's going to say, hey, we have a veteran in crisis, can someone put eyes on that? We need someone to do a welfare check. So we never break that constant communication. So you have responders, and then you have the people who assist us with getting EMS or police services, chaplains to the veterans, because we're over the phone. There's only so much we can do over the phone. Sometimes you need hands-on, feet on the ground help. And then, true as to technology, we had to expand into chat services. So we actually have a website, and you can go on the website, and you can click on chat, and you can talk to someone just like me through a computer, which I think is great, because so many people are using technology. A lot of our young veterans, they don't want to talk on the phone. That's just not their thing. Their social media, their website, and they're also text. So text came in 2011, and when I tell you, text is a monster, okay? The young veterans who are in their 20s, they will text us their life stories. Like, you see it just come in like a whole dissertation, and you're trying to pick out pieces of how you can help. But it's great because we can also, because the phone, we can also track their location if we need to and give them services, or we can locate the closest VA to that cell phone and tell them, go right on in. They're waiting for you. We've already called and made arrangements. So we've been growing as far as technology and different types of services. So our website is www.veteranscrisisline.net, and you'll see on there where you can hit chat, text, and our phone number is there as well. And so our text number is not a real phone number. It's like one of those texts where you do the 3 numbers. It's 838-255. It's kind of like you would call the radio station or text the radio station to get some concert tickets. So that's really easy. So it's not a full number that you have to remember. It's just 6 numbers. So I work at the VCL Atlanta. And VCL Atlanta opened up in 2016. So they spent a whole 11 years working in Canandaigua self-sufficient, to the point where, if you know anything about northern New York, right by Buffalo, Canada, those winters are horrible. So you imagine where people just couldn't get to work, and you have these, catastrophic events, so you need a backup center. So that's where Atlanta came in and like, let's put it in the South. They don't have any real winters. The winter is 45 degrees with sun down here. So they'll always come to work. And sure enough, we always come to work. So we also opened up just in 2017, Topeka, Kansas. Now, I'm not sure how this happened, but apparently Topeka, Kansas has this huge VA that was empty. So they have all this space. So they put some responders in there as well. And I'll tell you a secret, it's in the psych ward. So you go in there and they're answering phones and they're in these like little cubby holes with the curtains are still there. So it's kind of strange, but think about their commitment to go every day to answer the phones for a veteran in the psych ward, in a concrete building, just because they care so much. Now I really, really appreciate Topeka. And there's only 20-something of them. So when I went out there, it's the middle of nowhere, it's very flat, but the people there are so nice. You think Southerners are nice? Let me tell you, Topeka, Kansas people are the sweetest people ever. And you'll get a veteran say, I just talked to someone in Topeka, and they treated me so kind, and they're so nice. And then what we do is we give them a little compliment, which helps them with their career, and helps them get licensed and things like that. So we all work together, all 3 sites, Canandaigua, Atlanta, and Topeka, Kansas. So I said that 800 people work at the VCL, which is a big increase from 14. And we're open 24 hours, 7 days a week, including holidays. And that's important because some of our veterans, especially our older veterans, they're the last people in their family living. They've lost their fellow service members. Maybe their family doesn't understand PTSD or mental health, so they've lost patience with them. Kids grow up, move away, have their own families. So a lot of our veterans are lonely and by themselves on the holidays, but we are there. And I actually like working on holidays, because then the conversation is not always about suicide, it's just about family and life, and you get that general support. And it also means, because we're open 24/7, 7 days a week, and holidays, that you will always have a live responder. So there will be no robocalls, there will be no prompts pressed, all this stuff. As soon as you hit one, it's one someone on the line. Thanks for calling the Veterans and Military Crisis Line. My name is Ashley. How can I help you? And then that just shows that we don't mess around. We know our veterans are not only are they our bread and butter to say, but they're also our most important customers, because you guys sacrifice and the family sacrifice. So let's do something for you. I don't mind sacrificing the Thanksgiving. It's fine. There's veterans who don't have food on the table, the veterans who don't have family, and they don't know what they can give thanks for. But maybe I can give them a friendly voice on the other side of the phone. Christmas Eve and Christmas are usually the tough holidays. That's when veterans feel like there's really nothing else to live for. They don't have those presents underneath the tree. They don't have their grandchildren and things like that, or their wives or spouses. So Christmas is a very tough one. So I make sure I work Christmas Eve and Christmas. It's just an 8-hour shift, so it's not like, and there's 800 of us. So it's just a small amount of time. And it is a job, so I don't want to, misrepresent it. We're just all volunteers there. It is a job. This is a tough job, and you really want to do this type of work if you're going to do it, because it gets tough. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So here's some numbers for you. So as of July 2019, we have answered 488,304 calls, 58,303 chats, and 32,956 texts. So that's halfway through the year. So if you double that, we're going to be over 1 million calls, over 100,000 chats, and about 60,000 texts. It requires a big workforce to handle that type of demand. And we do. We pride ourselves in not having any what we call rollovers. Rollovers means that between Atlanta, Canandaigua, and Topeka. No one can answer the phone, but you're still covered because we have a backup center in Portland, Oregon. So when I tell you someone is always there, someone is always there. You can test the line too. You call us on Christmas and see if we're there. We'll be there. So why do veterans call? Any guesses? Some veterans out there. Why would you call? Or why do you see anyone calling? Good. So finding resources. So not knowing who to contact or where to go when you need things. So we have a big long list of resources, financial resources, mental health resources, resources for the family, resources if a veteran does actually take their lives. There's services for the family, there's burial benefits, all that stuff. We have access to everything. We can get you a referral directly to that agency or directly to that person. If it's during business hours, we can do it right there on a three-way call. If it's after hours, we'll take all your information, put it in the system, and they'll get back to you in 24 business hours. It's usually 24 hours in general, but we have to say 24 business hours for the holidays. So there's a very short lag time between you calling and getting resources. Anything else that you think of what people would call? Oh my gosh, yes. So unfortunately, I don't have access to any money. If I had any money, I would definitely give it to all my veterans. I'd be broke in like 2 minutes. But we can have a line that's called a Veterans Benefits Administration. So they back up to us. So if a veteran calls like, I can get my check, well, I say, well, let me get you on the phone with the VBA is what we say. And they'll figure out what's going on with that check, adjust it, things like that right there on the phone too. Because I don't know about you, but if my money's funny, I start feeling some type of way too. It might make me a little suicidal if I can't pay my bills. So it's money and benefits is very important. Or say they went to the VA and got a huge bill. You know how medical bills are. I think the medical industry is a whole different side of the business as well. So you have this huge bill that you can't afford. That would send someone into a crisis. It would definitely send me into a crisis. So we'll have someone figure out what's going on with that bill. Who can we talk to? We also have access to DAV, Veteran Warriors, things like that, who can advocate, veteran service officers, who can advocate for financial resources, advocate for forgiveness and things like that. So the government, as I've learned in the past 2.5 years, is huge and it has fingers and going in every branch. So there's always something. I haven't had a crisis yet that I didn't have something for someone. I didn't do it, I knew who to go to, who could help it. Say that again? Yes, I'm on the phone all the time, all day.